Good day, yogis, and welcome to this Yin Yoga session, which is going to be focused a little bit more on this colder weather that we've been having, and with the winter solstice approaching, so we're moving out of that period of colder and longer nights and shorter days, and we're sort of moving past the cusp of that. So we're going to take a bit of time to move through a few of the shapes, being a bit more introspective, finding that definite yin energy around us at the moment. Everything's slowing down. Somebody once said to me a really beautiful thing, because I've never really been a winter person, and they said that, you know, winter is just a time when everything sort of takes a break. Everything goes into this hibernation, introspection and surrender mode, and then regenerates and comes back again in the spring. So this is basically what I've been feeling, and this yin sequence today is all about these long days of winter lending themselves to this sort of physical stagnation of the trees, of plants, of animals, of beings. So let's begin. Grab yourself a mat for today's practice, a couple of blocks and a bolster, and then let's come down into easy seat. Allow yourself just to press both sit bones equally into the ground, bringing the palms together to touch. Allow yourself a few moments just to connect here, inward. Begin to rub the palms together, generating some warmth between the hands. And then resting those hands into your heart center, taking a few deep inhalations and exhalations through the nose. Allowing the shoulders to drift away from the ears. As you lengthen up from the base of the spine, connecting the thumbs into the sternum and the heart center here. Connecting to yourself. Just noticing any sensations in the body, any thoughts that you've carried with you into the room. Allow yourself this time now to fully surrender, to let go, to be at one. Gently drop the hands down to the knees, palms facing upward. We'll take a short meditation today, focusing on the feelings of worry and regret. So allow your whole body to be still and to be soft. Take a scan through the body, beginning at the tip of the head, moving through the shoulders, the spine, into the hips, down the arms into the palms, down the legs and shins into the feet. Allow everything to soften. Taking another few deep inhales and exhales, focusing on the breath, uniting yourself to the breath. And just take a moment to imagine yourself as if you were standing on the street outside the home or the space wherever you are right now. And you have beside you two big suitcases, one on either side. One of them is filled with worries, and the other filled with regret. And as you try to pick up these two suitcases, you notice just how heavy they are. Trying to pick up the suitcase of worry, you notice that when we sit in a space of worry, we're thinking about things that haven't happened, that have yet to happen. And we're not being present in the moment. So this suitcase of worry really isn't something that you can deal with in this moment. And on the other side, you have a suitcase filled with regret, equally as heavy. And then you notice and realize that regret is often based on the past, something that has happened, and not based and rooted in the present moment. So yet again, you cannot influence anything or any part of regret. So you pick up the two suitcases, both equally heavy, and you begin to walk into your home. So off the street and into your home, carrying both suitcase of worry and regret. And as you come through the front door, you drop both suitcases beside you, as though you've come back from a long trip. And instantly the weight is released from your palms and your hands and your body, and you walk over to the sofa or your couch and you flop down and you completely let go, as though you've just come back from this really long trip, and you're allowing yourself a moment to just rest, to let go. And just in this moment, notice the lightness that you feel. You're rooted in the present moment. The long trip is behind you. You allow yourself this moment of rest. And you allow yourself to let go of the suitcase of regret and worry and leave it at the door. Don't carry it along with you anymore. Allow yourself to become aware of the breath once more. Noticing the prana and the life force flowing through your body. Having put aside your worries and your regret, allow yourself to come back into the space now and move through this practice without worries or regret, and just being focused on the now. When you're ready, you can gently flutter the eyes open, coming back into your space. Getting ready for our first posture, which is reclined butterfly on a bolster. So grab hold of either two pillows. You can wrap them with a blanket or a couple of rolled up blankets and towels, or if you have a bolster, you grab hold of that, place it behind the back, so you're allowing yourself to prop it right up into the small of the back. Join the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to drift out comfortably to either side. If you want to take a very restorative practice today, you can grab hold of two bricks or blocks or books and place them under the knees or pillows, and then allow yourself to lie back onto the bolster, allowing the head to rest, chin is slightly tucked into the chest, arms out beside you, and allow yourself some moments here, breathing deeply into the belly. So this is our first shape for today. We're here for a few minutes, so allow yourself to fully surrender into the practice. Turn the awareness back into the breath as you deeply inhale and exhale through the nose. Feet are gently resting against one another, Knees are gently drifting down towards the ground. Ensure that the shoulders are open and soft. Chest is open. Palms are facing upwards as you relax down into the bolster beneath you. Deep breaths. And in this time, allow yourself to become introspective, to turn inwards. And as everything slows down around us, as the season is changed into winter, allow your body this time, your mind, your spirit, your soul, this time to also slow down. Tap into the yin energy around you. Remembering the principles of yin yoga, that we work to the edge of a 5 out of 10. And then we resolve to hold the posture in stillness. So no fidgeting or moving, just allowing yourself to let go, surrender completely, and bring attention back to the breath. Deep breaths in and out through the nose, inhaling and exhaling. Just walking through the shape once more as we move into the last few seconds here, allowing yourself to surrender that little bit deeper. Breathing deeply into the belly, inhaling and exhaling, the rise and fall of the belly. Gently come out of the shape by pressing the palms or the forearms into the mat, gently moving the bolster out of the way, moving it aside. And then we're going to come into the next shape, which is a reclined twist. So lying down onto the back, hug the knees into the chest, take a gentle rock from side to side. And then you can have the arms here, either in cactus shape. You're going to allow the knees to drift over to one side. If the knees can come down to the ground while the right shoulder, so I'm going left side here, while the right shoulder is still pinned to the mat, then you can allow yourself to stay here gazing up to the ceiling. You can turn the hand down onto the knees. If you need a bit of support here, just grab hold of a bolster or a pillow or whatever you want and just allow the knees to rest on that. Gazing up to ceiling. If your arm is extended, palm facing down, you can gaze over to the hand. Just ensuring the alignment here, that the shoulders stay pinned onto the ground as you roll the knees over to one side. And we're here for 3 minutes. So allow yourself to deeply surrender once more into this reclined twist pose. For those of you that would like to take the posture a little further, you can wrap the legs around one another and then draw the knees over. This is called twisted roots. So adjust yourself here and then once more breathe into the shape. Walk through the shape as you allow yourself to surrender and soften. Just notice where you're holding any extra bits of tension. Once more tapping into the principles of Yin Yoga, allowing yourself to surrender and be still in the posture. Soften the toes, soften the calves, soften the thighs. Allow the chest to splay open as you breathe deeply, expanding into the rib cage. Just walking through the shape with a mindset of how can you soften that a little bit more. Finding ways to surrender more deeply into every shape that we go into in the practice today. Moving into the last 30 seconds of our twisted roots or reclined twist pose. Gently begin to roll out of the posture by drawing the knees back up into the chest, roll back onto the spine, hug the knees into chest, gently rock from side to side. We're taking our twisted roots posture over to the other side. So bringing hands back into cactus if they were in cactus, drawing the knees over now to the right side, either one knee stacked upon the other. Shift the shoulders so that both shoulders are still on the ground. Gaze up to the ceiling. And if you want to take it a bit further, you can once more wrap the legs around one another and draw them over to the side. And then surrender into this shape. Soften the entire body. Let go. Once more, turn to the breath, deeply inhaling and exhaling, allowing yourself once more this time of introspection, this time of deep reflection, letting the body completely melt into the shape, not manipulating in any way, just surrendering, letting go, softening into the resistance. Allowing the body to experience every one of the shapes of our yin practice today. Using the breath, following it, riding the waves of the breath, the prana, your life force. Softening the jaw, looking for any last pockets of tension. Target area here is through the front of the chest and a twist through the spine. Everything else is relaxed and soft. buttocks softened? Are you holding any tension there? Moving into the last few seconds of our shape. Gently start to come out, rolling the knees back up onto the chest. Gentle, take your time. Draw them into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. Draw the hands underneath the thighs and begin to gently rock and roll. So gently rolling back along the spine and forward. Use the breath here. And we're gently going to roll forward and over into the next shape, which is Sphinx Pose. So rolling over and onto the belly. Stacking the elbows underneath the shoulders. Palms are forward and out in front of the body. Allow the thighs to soften onto the mat. You can zip the feet together here, but then once they're touching, just let them go. So just soften. Buttocks is soft. Rise up out of the chest. Belly is gently touching the floor, using the forearms as your base here. And then gazing forward. You can either gaze forward or choose to gaze in between the palms. And if you're feeling you want a very restorative practice today, you can bring a bolster down or your blanket onto the belly and just place the arms over the top of the bolster. Still gazing forward, completely relaxed. Close the eyes. Go within. Allow yourself this moment now to surrender. So Sphinx Pose is specifically useful for people that spend a lot of time seated. And in this winter period, we tend to spend a lot of time trying to stay warm, hunched over, sitting on the couch, wrapped up in a blanket, sitting at your desk, wrapped with a heater blaring or blasting on you, trying to get warmth. So we tend to arch through the spine. We need to have this extension of the spine. So taking 5 minutes here, and especially because it's 5 minutes, take the support of a bolster or a pillow and just hold the posture. Go back into the space of stillness. Turn back to the breath. Soften through the toes and the soles of the feet, the ankles. Soften through the calves and knees, the thighs. Really allow yourself to completely surrender and let go into the shape. The long days of winter can lend themselves to physical stagnation, fatigue and hibernation. In this sequence we honor the pause. We honor this pause. Winter is like a pause where everything is allowed to just switch off. Stop trying so hard. Pause and then resume once you've taken some rest. And as we're going through this time of coronavirus, which is essentially just enforcing this pause in our lives, whether we want it or not, just embrace what is happening. Honor yourself. Give yourself time. Give yourself a moment of self-reflection. Give yourself this time just to surrender into whatever's being thrown at you. Breathe deeply into the chest. This is a beautiful heart opening posture, opening up the heart chakra. If at any time the neck starts to feel heavy, just gaze down towards the hands. Just adjust as you need. Into the last few seconds here. We gently get ready to move out of the shape by pressing palms into the mat. If you have a bolster or pillows, move them aside now. Drop down, tuck the toes, let's recline and move right over into a counter pose of child's pose. So dropping the buttocks down to the heels, forehead drops down to the mat. Wrap the hands around, touching the toes, and allow yourself to relax here for a few moments. Sigh out the breath a couple of times. And then on the next exhale, gently bring the palms underneath the shoulders. Rise yourself up into tabletop. We're going to take our next shape, which is thread the needle. But we're going to extend the leg in this thread the needle and draw the buttocks back towards the heels. So we're going to start on the extending the left leg out. So left leg extends out towards the side of the body. Ankle is in line here with the hips. And then we're going to begin to press back down towards the buttocks. So bringing the buttocks back towards the heels, taking the right hand, we thread down. Right hand thread down, drawing the hand towards the foot. And allow yourself to just surrender down here. Now the forehead may not touch the ground here, so grab hold of a pillow or a blanket and you can prop it up on that and just allow yourself to surrender here. Leg is extended, gaze underneath the armpit and hold here. You're holding here for 2 minutes. Roll the chest open. So you're taking a lovely stretch through the upper body here. Breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling. Lovely stretch through the front thigh or the inner thigh of the leg. Once more, closing the eyes and surrendering into the shape, allowing yourself to just let go here. This is too much for anyone and you prefer to be in the traditional thread the needle, you can just come out and draw the arm underneath, right arm under, and send the left hand to the top of the mat, and then just stay here. So again, it's up to you. Play around with the posture. Surrender down into the mat, surrender down into the ground. Deeply inhaling and exhaling, allowing yourself this moment. We're moving into the last few seconds here in our leg extended threaded needle. So wherever you are in the shape, just allow yourself these last few moments of stillness. Gently rise yourself back up Coming back into tabletop. Wag the hips here from side to side. So take a moment, allowing the hips to wag over from one side to the other. And then we get ready to go into the other side. So once more, if you're taking the leg extended, just extend the right leg out towards the side and then draw the buttocks back down towards the heels, and we're taking the left hand, threading it through. Once more, you may need to prop yourself up here with a block so the head can rest on the block, and then allow yourself just to settle. Relax into the shape. And a few last deep breaths here again. If you're not feeling this particular version of thread the needle, you can come into the traditional where the knees are stacked under the hips. Left hand drops down, right hand comes up to the top of the mat. Just allow yourself to breathe deeply here. Last few deep inhalations, and coming now to the last few seconds in the shape, and then gently allow yourself to roll out, coming back up, beginning to wag the hips once more from side to side. Let's take the next stretch, which is frog pose. So frog pose is a very deep and intense hip opening posture. We're going to take the knees wider than the mat here, and you're going to draw the knees out as far as they can go, keeping an alignment of the knees and the hips together, and then the ankle stacked underneath the knee. You can flex the feet out here and see if you can drop down a little bit further, and then drop onto the forearms here. So this posture is a deep hip opener, so don't expect yourself to go too far here. If it's hurting in the knees or hurting anywhere, you can place blankets underneath each one of the knees. You can create hands into prayer. Rest the area of the third eye down onto the thumbs, and just allow yourself to surrender here. Deep breaths. Quieten the mind once more. Turn the focus back onto the breath. We're just going to take a short while in frog pose. Few seconds. So we'll be here for a minute. So gently allow yourself to press the palms back into the mat. Start to draw the feet and then the knees back onto your mat. Allow yourself to come into the next stretch, which is toe stretch. So we're coming into hero pose, allowing the buttocks to sit down onto the heels. Just come forward, tuck the toes under, and then we're going to reach back, sitting onto the haunches, bringing hands either into prayer or just resting them on the thighs here. Close the eyes and allow yourself now to stretch through the toes. I always say this is a great posture, especially in winter when the toes get so frozen. This is a great way to get circulation moving back through the toes. And just breathe. If at any time this posture becomes too much for you, you can just gently rise out and then take it back down again. So just listen to the body. Moving into the last few seconds here. Gently come forward, place palms onto the mat, begin to pat the toes or tap them out, tap, tap, tap them on the mat, waking up all of the parts of the feet. And then we're going to drop back into hero pose and take a neck stretch. So sitting buttocks down onto heels, send the fingers down into the earth beneath you. So really lengthen up, grow tall through the spine, send the shoulders away from the ears, and we're gently going to take the right ear over to the right shoulder. So at the same time as you do this, ensure that you don't start to lift this left shoulder. Draw it further down towards the mat. Make sure the fingertips are touching down into the ground. And then from here you can gently move the chin down towards the chest and back forward again. Just noticing any sensations within the neck. Deeply breathing as we move through this neck stretch. And just hold, adjusting the shape each time you feel yourself getting out of alignment. And gently allow the chin to come back up, crown back to ceiling. Adjust yourself once more, sending the fingertips down. Send the left ear to left shoulder now. Point the fingertips down into the ground beneath you. Allow yourself to adjust into the next stretch here as you begin to move chin down to the shoulder and then back up towards the center. Just a couple of movements here, just gauging what's going on in the neck, all the while sending the shoulders away from the ears. And then hold. Allow yourself some moments here. Deep breaths. Gently allow the forehead to draw up towards the ceiling. And then let's come over into the next shape, which is supported bridge pose. So for this posture, you'll either need your blanket, your pillows, or your block. Ideally, if you have a block, that works pretty well. We come down on the mat, send the arms up overhead, take a deep stretch here. And as you exhale, we're gently going to bring soles of the feet onto the mat. Press them down, raise up the hips as you bring your block underneath the base of the spine. So you're searching here for the sweet spot, just underneath or just above the sit bones or above the buttocks. You'll find it. It's a space that feels very comfortable. You can take your block either on this height or you can fold it down one height. And then once you're there, you have the option to extend the legs out and down and then draw the arms either up overhead, holding onto the elbows, or you can just rest the hands out beside you, whatever works well for you. We're here for about 3 minutes, so allow yourself to settle down into the shape. Once more, draw the awareness back to the breath. Just adjust if you need to. If you're not finding that you found the sweet spot to rest into this shape, just adjust yourself until you find it. Breathing deeply into the belly here. With every breath, allowing yourself to fold a little deeper into the shape. This is a beautiful stretch across the front fascial layer of the body. We're stretching here into the hip flexors, so a beautiful stretch across this area, abdominal area. Just breathe deeply. Settle down into the posture. Soften through the shins, through the thighs. Soften the belly, soften the lower back. Soften the shoulder blades down into the ground beneath you. Fully surrender into the shape. Once more, if you don't have a block, you can always use your pillows or a bolster. I'm going to swap over to a bolster, just have a little bit of a different sensation within the lower back. Once more, tapping back into the breath. Softening through the toes, soles of feet and ankles. Whole body is soft. Allowing yourself one last time to check the posture, to let go fully, surrendering. Bringing the soles of the feet back onto the mat, press them down into the ground as you raise the hips up. Gently remove your bolster or block or pillow or whatever you've used here to prop yourself up. Take the feet down, draw the arms up overhead. We're coming into the last shape, which is Banana Asana. So draw arms up overhead, take a deep stretch. We're going to move into Banana Asana now, so taking the left foot over and off the mat, and then crossing over with the right foot. So right foot over left, and then we start to take the top of the body over, arms up overhead, The key here is to ensure that you keep both hips square onto the mat. So draw the arms up overhead, stretching along the side body, so as though you're doing a half moon shape or a banana shape. Gaze up towards the ceiling and just allow yourself to settle here. Turning your awareness once more back to the breath as you deeply inhale and exhale through the nose. Just allow yourself this full moment of surrender. Moving into our last few seconds in Banana Asana, you allow yourself last moments to soften through the body. Gently begin to fold yourself out of the shape, bringing the feet back onto the mat, extending the legs down, arms back up overhead. We're going to get ready to move into the other side now. So taking the right foot over to the right side of the body, off the mat, left foot crosses over right, and then we begin to shift the upper body over to the right side. Once more, keeping and making sure that both of the hips are stayed pressed down into the mat. Raise the arms up overhead, and once more settle down into the shape. Feeling the full, beautiful stretch along the left side of the body, running under the armpit, across the side, down to the quad, into the knee. Just breathe into this beautiful stretch. Surrender the body. Moving into the last 30 seconds, just allow yourself the last moment of full surrender. Gently come out of the shape, bringing both feet back onto the mat. Take a last deep stretch, arms up overhead. Draw the hands up, fingers and toes being pulled away from one another. And then when you're ready, gently coming into Shavasana, bringing the feet to the edges of the mat, hands out beside you, allowing yourself a last moment of relaxation. Bringing awareness to the toes, to the soles of the feet and to the ankles, scanning for tension, letting go and relaxing. And if you're in Shavasana and you need a blanket, you need some warmth, grab that warmth. Put on some socks, put on a jersey, be warm, be comfortable. Scanning up through the shins and the calves now into the knees. Letting go and relaxing here. Moving up into the thighs, the hamstrings, the hips. Softening. Allowing yourself a moment here to surrender into the ground beneath you. Softening through the hips, scanning through the tips of the fingers, the palms, the wrists, allowing the hands to be soft, forearms into elbows, upper arms into shoulders, all relaxing. Softening through the chest, muscles in the neck and the mouth, soft, relaxing. Back of the head resting on your mat as you completely let go and relax the entire body. And you can gently begin to wriggle the toes, bringing some movement back into the feet. Take the tip of the thumb and gently draw it across the tips of the fingers. Allow the head to roll over from one side to the other. When you're ready, gently draw the arms up overhead for a last deep stretch. Hug the knees into the chest, so slowly coming knees back into chest, gently rock from side to side, rolling over onto either your right or your left side, and then gently pressing yourself back up into an easy seat pose. So take your time, allow yourself a moment to settle back on the mat. Draw the hands back into prayer position. Begin to rub the palms together, generating some warmth. And then resting that warmth into your heart center. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, bow the nose down to touch the tips of your fingers. Acknowledging yourself for turning up to this practice. And allowing yourself this time of introspection, this time of surrender, this time of hibernation. Knowing that if you rest your body, you'll come back stronger. Namaste. Thank you for turning up to the practice with me today. Have a beautiful day.